Okay, we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Back to Jimmy.
Okay, I'm here with Kurt Metzger. Hey, Kurt, how are you?
Hey, how are you, Jimmy?
Good. Oh, you switched your backdrop from McIlhany.
Yeah, I'm switching back to the gals.
So, big news. Trump signed an executive order for the feds to take over LA's nightmare wildfire rebuild and huge boost for victims. Get our family back home. So now, if you know anything about, so we had the fires here in LA, and there's tens of thousands of homes that burned. You know how many they've rebuilt? 10. So it's been a year since the fires.
Seems high.
Seems 10. Yeah, that seems like actually high. So they're not doing it. We've driven down PCH, which is Pacific Coast Highway, from Santa Monica all the way to Malibu, and all those houses that burned down, none of them are being rebuilt. None of them. They cleared a lot of the garbage away, but they left the foundation, and there's no building happening. And a lot of people say it's because of all the stupid regulations, or it's all because of I wouldn't say stupid, but regulations. You have the coastal committee, and so this is from the White House. They put this out. Fact sheet: President Trump addresses state and local failures to rebuild Los Angeles after wildfire disasters. It's from January 27th, right now, 2026. So it says, accelerating rebuilding in wildfire-devastated Los Angeles. On Friday, President Trump signed an executive order to cut through bureaucratic red tape and speed up reconstruction in the Pacific Palisades and Eaton Canyon areas 1 year after devastating wildfires destroyed nearly 40,000 acres of homes and businesses. The order directs the administration of the Federal Emergency, so FEMA, and the administration of and the Small Business Administration. So FEMA and the Small Business Administration are to issue regulations that preempt state and local procedural permitting requirements and enable builders to self-certify to a federal agency designee that they have complied with state and local substantive health, safety, and building standards. So they can go right to the feds and get their permits to build if they say that if they can prove that they've complied, because the state bureaucracy is moving so slowly. That's what this is telling me. The order directs agencies to use all available authorities under federal environmental, historical preservation, and natural resource laws, including the National Environmental Protection Act, the NEPA, Endangered Species Act, and the National Historic Preservation Act to expedite waivers, permits, and approvals that may be required from the federal government. The order further directs the development of legislative proposals that would enable FEMA and the SBA, Small Business Association, to address situations in which state or local governments are not enabling timely recovery after disasters. It orders FEMA to determine whether any of California's nearly $3 billion in unspent hazard mitigation grant program funds were awarded arbitrarily or contrary to law, and to conduct a full audit of California's use of those funds. So, despite billions of dollars in federal recovery awards and the latest federal debris removal in American history, and the fastest federal debris removal in American history, only about 2,500 of the tens of thousands of homes and businesses destroyed have received permits to rebuild. Now, a year after the fires, less than 10 homes have been rebuilt. Overly burdensome, confusing, and inconsistent permitting requirements, duplicative permitting reviews, procedural bottlenecks, and administrative delays have effectively stalled recovery efforts. Even expedited reviews promised by local leaders have taken months, with processing times averaging 93 days for the Palisades. Permit fees and environmental reviews add further delays and costs. State and local barriers prevent survivors from returning home, reopening businesses, and restoring communities, prolonging hardship and economic loss. And that's right from the White House. That's what the White House says they're doing. Okay. Eric Doherty then responds to, as he says, Breaking, President Trump just stunned Gavin Newsom by signing an executive order for the feds to take over the LA wildfire rebuild and permitting process. Newsom has failed, and Trump is saving people. The generational failure, blah, blah, blah. This is the worst. Okay, so I got that. But Gavin Newsom needs that money. He needs that money. So let me just say this. So here's what this guy says in response to Eric Doherty. He says, breaking, it seems making Eric look like a dummy has become a full-time job. The executive order in question directs FEMA and the Small Business Association to issue regulations allowing builders to self-certify compliance with state local standards. The federal government lacks the authority to directly issue or override local building permits without specific congressional legislation, making Trump's executive order more of a symbolic gesture than enforceable policy. In 2024, the Supreme Court overturned the Chevron doctrine, meaning federal agencies like FEMA or the Small Business Association can no longer interpret vague laws to give themselves broad new power. In other words, Trump's executive order is about as useless as the paper he wrote it on. That's according to him. So I say, so here's what Gavin Newsom retweeted the New York Post tweet about it, and he said, Donald Trump has signed a useless executive order rather than deliver the $34 billion California taxpayers deserve in wildfire disaster aid to actually rebuild. It's been over a year, and he has refused to help the American people. Disgusting. But Gavin, he needs that money for his bullet train project.
Yeah, because it's not going to the victims. He means they're not giving it to him to disperse. Is that what that means?
I think so. I mean, his bullet train's going to be so fast, it'll be like it was never there.
Even if they build it, it's like a stupid track. It's not even a good...
So the problem with Donald Trump, I mean, with Gavin Newsom saying, I need the $34 billion from the feds, is, well, one thing, I've read the $34 billion you're asking for. It's full of money for non-government organizations and patronage groups and not fire victims. Money needs to go to the victims directly, not line the pockets of millionaires running nonprofits. Well, we've seen this already. So they had a big concert for the fire victims here in Los Angeles. All the big shots were at the concert. They raised $100 million. Nobody knows where that $100 million went. I'll tell you where it went. God. It went into the pockets of the NGO, the non-government organization that ran that event. It went in their pockets because 80% of all the money that non-government that charity raises goes to administrative fees. So at least 80 million of it's going right into the pockets of the people grifting off of tragedy. And so you would see why people are suspicious of Gavin Newsom wanting to get his fingers on $34 billion from the Fed without giving it directly to the people and the victims. Okay. So, this is Gavin Newsom has done this before. So, you know, they spent $24 billion on solving homeless, even though you could end homelessness in America for $20 billion if you spend it correctly. Well, they spent $24 billion in California alone, and homelessness got worse. It didn't get better. They made no dent, right? And so they drew up legislation to try to find out what happened to that $24 billion. Well, I'll tell you what happened to it. Just like the $100 million that they raised for the fires, it went into the pockets of NGO people, and they dispersed it to their political cronies, and everybody got rich off of a $24 billion spent on homelessness. Nobody ever really wants to solve homelessness, because if you do, then you don't have a job anymore. Okay? It's like if they outlawed fires, we wouldn't need a fire department anymore. They wouldn't have a job. If we got rid of, but we'll always have fire. That's why they have to make sure we always have homelessness, so they can always keep spending money and getting rich off it. And so they came up with a bill to try to find out, where did that $24 billion go? And guess what? Guess what Gavin Newsom did? he vetoed it. Here it is. California Governor Gaston, he vetoed a bipartisan bill in September of 2024 that aimed to increase transparency in state spending on homelessness. It was Assembly Bill 2903, and it passed unanimously in both the House and the Senate. Republicans and Democrats unanimously approved this bill that would get us transparency on how they're spending the money for homelessness in California, and Gavin Newsom vetoed it. It required state agencies administering homelessness programs to annually report cost and outcome data to the California Interagency Council on Homelessness, with reports made publicly available so we can all see. The bill responded to a state audit showing California spent $24 billion on homelessness programs since 2018 without tracking outcomes or effectiveness, while homelessness increased. Gavin Newsom vetoed looking into where that $24 billion, and now he wants another $34 billion to help the fire victims.
Oh man, Billie Eilish can't do another concert to fill your pockets.
You're telling me that the fifth largest economy in the world, California is the fifth largest economy by itself in the world, it needs the federal government to step in to help us rebuild our fire? Really? We're the fifth largest economy in the world. What are you talking about? Just a
foreign investment, Jimmy?
Yeah.
We got some investment coming.
We got some investment coming. Remember he did that? I wish I would remember that. I would have put it in this thing. So
really interesting you would bring that up. Interesting, Jimmy. Interesting.
If you've even heard of a charity, it's because most of the money was siphoned off to advertising. That's how you hear about, because they take that money and spend it on charities, right? Mm-hmm. And by the way, this doesn't even cover the daycare scandals here in the Golden State. The homelessness are essential workers here in the United States of Scam America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we have the homeless watch your kids?
And here, Wendy O says, Gavin, where's the money from Fire Aid? Meaning that $100 million that they raised in that concert. Where's that money? Did you fast track permits for victims? Are victims still paying mortgages, taxes, and insurance on their destructed properties? Why would anyone give you any more money?
Well, the money's at Bill's house, or Jim's house.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you where the money is.
So, and then she puts this up, and if Gavin Newsom had an animated series, it would be called Devious and Butthead. His executive order most likely isn't legal, or it's not gonna win the day, even because it looks like you need congressional authorization. But maybe I'm wrong. Well, we'll see. My gut is that he won't be able to do this. But he's going to make news. He just made news. He's making it on my show to highlight what a bad job Governor Newsom does. I don't know how many billions of dollars they spent on the bullet train here over the last 15 years. And you know how much bullet train we got? Zero. They spent billions of dollars. Billions.
Nice.
Billions. Now, let's keep in mind. Now, 1 million seconds is, I think, 11 days. 1 billion seconds is 33 years. That's the difference between. So the difference between $1 billion and $1 million is about $1 billion.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
What about 23 billion?
About 15 billion have already been spent, roughly.
$15 billion they've already spent on a bullet train, and there's no train. There's no platform. There's no train. There's no ticket kiosk. There's no seats. There's nothing. And they've already spent $15 billion on it.
And we're not allowed to look into what, and there's no oversight where the money went.
Where's the money?
I'm guessing that's where, if I had to pick out as a consultant where you're going wrong.
I want to be a bullet train consultant.
Hey, that's where the money went's the problem.
Yeah.
I'm no expert.
All right, over to stuff.
All right, thank you, Jimmy. Oh, this is a big one. Hold on, I got a big one coming here. 7 sheets. Hold on, 7 sheets. Bam. Stu and Jimmy, thank you to the truth tellers. Brad Gilbert, speaking of gay, look up Noahide flag. Shock not. Okay.
I said it on this very channel what the Noahide flag is.
Really?
Yeah, I just watched today clips where I was talking about the rainbow flag. That's the Noahide flag.
Okay, let's see here. I read that one. All right, next. Look into Charlie's blood and how it seems to disappear as it shoots out and got the little amount of blood that is on his team's
Grok
hand.
says Grok said that was Hollywood special effects, that blood. That's what Grok told me.
Well, and of course there's that video that's out there where that guy jumps on the table, pulls something.
It's like they had a football play worked out.
Totally.
It was like one of those. It was like one of those double reverses where the guy you think you're going to run, and he turns around and he throws it back to the quarterback, and then the quarterback throws it. That's what this looked like, a highly if you look at what happened after. First of all, the guy grabbed. It just everything's wrong. It looks like a highly coordinated football play, and they're definitely handing stuff off. I bet they took, because it looks like it wasn't a bullet. It looks like it was that microphone thing that exploded and killed him.
The Lebanese Israeli special, the ones that they bragged about doing, where they blew some girl's face off in Lebanon, and they go, "Oh, we blew your balls off."
And I wouldn't even be surprised if it electrocuted him, or anything is possible.
Well, all we know is the thing they said happened is not what happened.
What we know is the thing that
didn't do it.
We know definitely the thing that happened didn't happen. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy. And that was from K-Nibs. Thank you, K-Nibs. Jimmy, only a professional hitman has the tools to quickly assemble and disassemble a high-powered rifle. The trucker.
There's no way it's just so stupid. They didn't check the roof because they weren't allowed. Just that alone.
Yeah.
I believe them. They just weren't allowed, and they wanted to follow the law.
If you took them to court, though, their ridiculous excuses, they could use that as reasonable doubt. 100% they could. But in the court of me looking at it, no, you're liars. You're liars. And Israel did it. Fuck you.
DK, EK, Irina, Venezuelan boats, Butler, ice shooting, spinfluencers, J6, Ashley, Fuentes, all staged and fake. It's their 2 + 2 = 5 test, testing your willingness to ignore the evidence with your eyes. That's from Brad Gilbert. Brad, thank you, Brad. Talk about false flags and having foreknowledge about unaliving of her husband. Poor Charlie became the sacrificial lamb, and he did not redeem himself at all. His blood was wasted. Dewa Trucker.
He didn't redeem himself at all? What do you mean? What are you, Christ?
When you ask a chat, what do they mean? It's hard, because then they
didn't redeem himself. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to be.
I don't know. Adjean, thank you, Adjean. Tiberius, I knew Erica Kirk was involved the moment I saw Mikey McCoy responding to the shot and not Charlie falling over. Then calling her immediately after. He had to talk to his mom, I think, and then his wife. So, and then they got on a three-way.
Okay, come to me.
Oh, back